Hey guys, Blu-ray Gamer 2012 here with another movie collection. Now this time I want to show you my Marvel movie collection, Blu-rays, DVDs, 4Ks. So let me just get started. I have the X-Men 8 movie collection. I got this for Christmas like 2 years ago. And this is the UK version, you can tell. Funny thing is, all of them are region 1, but except for first class. Now, funny thing is, when I wanted to put that in, it couldn't play, so I actually had to try to make a quick run to Best Buy and try to find the Blu-ray version of it, but I couldn't find one, and I just had to get the 4K version, which is this next one. In the first class. I enjoyed this movie a lot. Pretty much, I enjoyed most of the X-Men movies. They're pretty good. I don't know how Marvel's gonna do with them in the MCU, so this is Logan. It's a great movie, one of my favorites, one of the best comic book movies ever. Period. Uh, I don't know, it's probably my second or third favorite, but definitely after The Dark Knight, that was one of my favorites. Probably my favorite, my number one. So I got next the Spider-Man movies. I got the first Spider-Man, my favorite, honestly. I always enjoyed this one more than I did the second one. Spider-Man 2. I didn't care too much when I was a kid for this, but growing up, I definitely appreciated it a hell of a lot more. And yes, it's fantastic movie, one of the best comic book movies ever. Now this is a guilty pleasure of mine because when I was a kid, when this came out, I remember I bought a bootleg version of this on DVD, and I always enjoyed that movie. And that year on Christmas, I remember I got it on DVD, and I just always, I always really enjoyed this movie. But I was a kid, I just wanted to see like action and stuff. I didn't care too much about the stories. But yeah, watching it back now, you can there's a ton of problems with it. The Amazing Spider-Man. This one I enjoyed as well. Another guilty pleasure of mine. I don't think it was as bad as people say, but yeah, always enjoyed it. Now this one's pretty bad. When I watched it like years ago, I actually saw this one before I saw like many of the Marvel movies. So I thought it was fine. It was okay. I didn't see why it was so hated. But after I got exposed to more of the MCU movies, and I went back and watched this, and I just couldn't finish. It was just, oh my god. I can see now why people hated it at the time. This was a pretty good one. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I was kind of like put off from this movie because the animation. I saw the trailers. I was like, nah, I just didn't want to mess with with the animation. But I bought it last year for Black Friday, very cheap, and definitely enjoyed it. It was very very good. I definitely could have overlooked the animation, but yeah, it was really well done movie. Now this one I enjoyed. Venom. I never understood why it got so much hate, but I don't know. I just always kind of enjoyed this one. Yeah, so definitely a guilty pleasure of mine. A good Saturday's Friday night movie. Now this one was Iron Man Extremis and Agent of Sword Spider Woman. Now this is like a weird one. It's kind of like I thought they were like animated movies, but it was like an animated comic. It's kind of weird. Yeah, I saw it once. It was put up by it and I haven't watched it since. Maybe I'll try to watch it again. This is Iron Man Hulk Heroes United. This one I bought for very cheap. It was like at a Best Buy, like $5 bin. But yeah, it was alright. It's like a kids animated movie. Oh, this is the Blake triple feature. I always enjoyed one and two of this. The third one was kind of meh, but uh, I definitely enjoyed these. This is Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. Crap movie. I just was very put off by this. I wasn't, when I put it on, I wasn't putting full attention, so I pretty much forgot what it was about. Now this is a guilty pleasure. Howard the Duck. Yeah, this is like an '80s movie. I always enjoyed this one when I saw it. I had read like that people hated it. It was trash, but I found it at the Best Buy like $5 bin a few years ago. Picked it up. I definitely enjoyed it. Now this is The Punisher. This one was pretty good in my opinion. Many the Punisher movies were never considered to be that good, but for this one, for what it was, I definitely enjoyed this one. Now this is the Fantastic Four double feature. Um, I remember also having like the bootleg version of Fantastic Four like as a kid. I think I watched it like once and never picked it up again, but I didn't really pay too much attention to it. Uh, for the Silver Surfer one, I remember I think it was sixth grade when we were at gym. It was like I think it was the final day of school. We didn't even do much. We were just in the locker, and the coach just pulled up one of those TVs and just put it on. And yeah, I do have some memory of that. Oh no, this one was terrible. This is the remake. Yeah, it was. What can I say? It was just garbage. Daredevil. Bought it a few years back, and I thought it was decent. I'll probably just give it another watch. Maybe eventually. But I do like the cover though. Yeah, I do like how the artwork they did for it. Electro. I read so much about how this one being bad, but I had to get it. It was on the. I remember seeing this in the Best Buy. $5 bin. I had decided to pick it up. I'm a collector. What can I say? Deadpool. They were fine. A lot of people were hyping these up when they came out, but I was not too big on them. I can see why people enjoy these, but it's not really my thing. I think they're just fine. And next is Deadpool 2. This is the 4K. Pretty much the same thing with the first one. This is really not my thing, but as a collector, I have to have everything. But they were all right. Yeah, let me go with these next. Now, the MCU movies. Iron Man probably my favorite. As a kid, I never really watched this, but I remember like buying the toys for this, and when I saw it like 3 years ago, it was pretty good. Enjoyed it. Man, what can I say about the movie? It's probably my favorite one. The Incredible Hulk. Now, this was the first, the first of the MCU movies I got, and it was the second Blu-ray I ever got. The first one was 2012. But yeah, it was fine. It was decent. I really enjoyed the first one a lot more. Iron Man 2. Same thing with the Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer. I remember watching this, at the gym class in middle school, and yeah, it was decent. This one I think a lot of people hate it, but for me, I always kind of enjoyed this one. Thor, same thing. I always enjoyed this one. It did kind of have its moments. Has its charm, but a lot of people don't like it. Captain America: The First Avenger. This one's fine. I do like things about it. I do enjoy the World War II story of this. Now, the Avengers is probably the best of the Avengers movies, in my opinion. It holds up the best, in my opinion. You don't really you don't really need the hype for it like you need for Endgame. But yeah, this one you can just pop in anytime, and it's good every time you view it. Iron Man 3. This one I never enjoyed, to be honest. When I bought it, the first time I watched it, I fell asleep. Then think a few days later, try to watch it again. Same thing, fell asleep. It was kind of boring one of the worst ones in the MCU. Thor: Dark World, probably the worst one. And what can I say about this? But as a collector, I have to have everything. Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Probably my second favorite MCU movie. This is pretty awesome. What can I say about this? I've seen this one a couple times now, and it's just a great movie. Guardians of the Galaxy, pretty fun one. One of my favorites. Definitely picked this one up. Avengers: Age of Ultron. Never cared for this one. I think I fell asleep during this. Pretty boring. Ant-Man. I I always enjoyed this one. This is a pretty fun one. You know. Captain America Civil War. Now, the first time I watched this one, I didn't really care too much for it, that it was overrated, but after watching it again, watching it with more open mind, I can definitely see why people enjoy this one. Now I do enjoy this one now, but the first time I watched it, I thought it was just mad, but definitely a good one to watch. Doctor Strange, this is a pretty good one. I definitely do enjoy this. I'm definitely looking forward to the sequel, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. No, this is a pretty good one, but it just didn't really come close to the first one. The first one was just so much better. Now, this one's the Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, funny thing, this was the first MCU movie I ever watched in theaters. This was the movie that pretty much got me hooked in the MCU. Prior to this, I had never ever seen, any of the MCU movies other than The Incredible Hulk. So yeah, well, this was a pretty fun one. Very well done. Definitely enjoyed it. Thor Ragnarok. This was a very funny one, but it's not that great a movie. But the first time you watch it is gonna be pretty hilarious, especially with the if you saw it in the theater. I remember I went to watch it like on a Sunday morning at the first screening. I thought it was gonna be empty, but damn, it was packed. When I went in, pretty much only the front row was available. Everything was sold out, and yeah, other than that, it was a pretty good experience. The crowd was awesome. Black Panther, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. This is a great one, to be honest. Uh, Remember watching this in theaters, but kind of heartbroken that he passed away. Avengers Infinity War, in my opinion, so much better than Endgame. Endgame pretty much had the hype for it, but I remember when this trailer popped up, everyone was hyped for this. I remember it got like 100 million views in like, I don't know, it was like a day or two. But yeah, this was like the most hype we've ever been for a movie, Infinity War. And by far, in my opinion, it's way better than Endgame. Ant-Man and the Wasp. When I went to watch this, I remember it was kind of empty. There was only like 5 or 6 people in there. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Wasn't as good as the first one, but it's still pretty enjoyable. Avengers Endgame. It had its moments, but I really think it wasn't as great as as Infinity War or Avengers. But this one's, I kind of enjoyed it the first time, but after that it's kind of hard to watch now because it's kind of long, and I don't have the patience for that. Now this is Spider-Man Far From Home. I didn't think it was that great. I'm probably gonna have to give this one another watch. Sorry, like once. Didn't care too much for it. Personally enjoyed Homecoming a whole lot more. But yeah, I'll maybe give it another watch. Now on to my DVDs. I only had like a few of these, and we'll be done. But Ghost Rider, bought this like 3 years ago at Big Lots. So yeah, it was better than the second one, but it's still pretty boring. Hulk. Now this one, when I watched the one a few years ago, I thought it was great. I think it was good, but again, after seeing like more of the MCU movies, it's just not that great anymore. I do like how the Hulk looks in this movie better, but I remember when this movie came out, you remember like those foam fists you had. Now I remember having those, having a few of the toys, but yeah. Now this is like a makeshift case, but this is Planet Hulk. I bought this one a few years ago like 10 years ago at Target, but like I ended up throwing away a lot of my cases that I had back then, and I just had the disc of it. So I pretty much got like another case I had for a movie I don't care about, and just made like a makeshift case. That way it's kind of crap, I just printed it out. But yeah. Now this is Spider-Man: Return of the Green Goblin. I grew up with this one pretty much, but I had it on VHS. I think this one I bought at Best Buy a few years ago, like in the $5 bin. Yeah, but I remember going with my dad to like Toys R Us and picking this one up when I was a kid on VHS. Always enjoyed this one. I'll probably have to pick more of those 90s Spider-Man DVDs. Now this is Spider-Man: The Venom Saga. This one I bought like 9 years ago. I always enjoyed this one. I remember growing up, one of my friends had this movie. They bought this movie at Target. I remember going with them when they bought it, and I always enjoyed this one. Now this I bought at Dollar Tree like 7 years ago. It's Stan Lee's Mutants, Monsters and Marvels. Excuse me. Now this is just a bunch of, oh, including Kevin Smith. It just has like a bunch of interviews with Stan Lee, by creating Spider-Man and more of the other characters. But yeah, I remember buying this at Dollar Tree like 7 years ago. For $1, not bad. And yeah, I think that's about it. So stay tuned. I'll at the end of the month, maybe like a day or two before Halloween, I'll make like a horror movie collection. But as for now, that's about it. So please comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching.